Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the new edition of In the Zone. Together with us is Coach Victor, Coach John, and all the way from US, Coach Jerel. All right, let's go. And to start off, we're going to talk about the rumors about ABL. Is it closing down or no? Okay, let's hear more about it from Coach Victor. All right, Coach.
Hi, good morning, coaches. Okay,
Morning,
so
Victor.
the rumor
Morning.
about ABL, whether it's closing down or not. Okay, from my perspective, I would like to provide a little bit of backdrop on how the Singapore Slingers is being founded and its purpose of joining ABL. So, the past, I would say 10 years ago, before ABL started, they started in, if I'm not wrong, 2009. So before that, Singapore national team, we do not have a professional league. So one reason that we are very keen and excited to join ABL is because it provides a platform for the local players to actually train professionally. And the ultimate aim is to, provide them with the training time, the expertise, the experience to play against teams from other countries, to prepare our local players and especially okay. So when the slingers were being formed, one of the unique points that we did was to get one less foreign player than the rest of the league. So if every other teams we have 4 foreign players, we have 3. So what we are trying to promote was during playing time, we give 2 local players the chance to learn with the 3 foreigners as compared to other teams. We have 4 foreigners playing at the same time. So that was one important aim. So the initial stages, I think we reaped some benefits. In 2013 and 2015, our national team actually won the bronze medal at the SEA Games.
Yes.
Of course, the powerhouse will be Philippines. So we are very excited. Then more and more as it goes along, more and more local players, dream of playing professional, basketball with the slingers, and then in the long term as well, the national. But in the last few years, the slingers did better and better. They were often among the top 2 teams, all the way to the playoffs and fighting for the championships. So it was fantastic as from the fans' point of view. But in the SEA Games for 2017 and 2019, after we won 2 bronze, our success at the SEA Games level started to fall back. We start to miss out on the top 4, and then for 2 editions in a row until in 2017 we were beat like Vietnam by around 20 points. So actually Vietnam has a team in the ABL, Saigon Heat.
Yeah.
Right? So in 2019, after beating them, in 2017 by 20 points, our national team, we got quite a favorable draw. So we were quite confident of entering the semi-finals of the SEA Games. You see, we were good in Vietnam. But in the first game, we lost by 10 points.
Yes.
So in the space of 2 years, there was a 30-point swing. You see? So it was quite a disappointing addition, I would say. So it comes to there's discussion that did something go wrong along the way? After starting so promisingly, has ABL continued to be a good platform for our local players, not just to train professionally? Is it aiding our national team, to achieve success at the SEA Games level? For example, like Vietnam, what prompted them to have this huge improvement over 2 years as this 30-point swing? They have a team in ABL. So my point is, if really there's this rumor, or eventually it does happen because of the COVID situation, closing down of this ABL, is it really a loss to our local basketball scene? Is it just, like what we all started, a platform for the local players, to play and then eventually raise the standard and then to compete with the likes of Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, at the SEA Games level. I mean, well, we are very realistic. We are all playing for the silver medal. Philippines will always be the gold medal winners for SEA Games. So, but eventually we are not even getting a bronze medal, and and we are doing very well in ABL for the slingers, but yet it does not translate to the SEA Games level. So who has taken the eye off the ball? So this is my question. So is it a loss? Personally, I might not think that is too much of a loss, in the sense that, there could be problems at various angles. And not to mention that the last edition of SEA Games, there's actually 3-on-3 competition. So 3-on-3 competition, there's additional medals. So out of 12 medals that's being given out for, both men's, women's, 3-on-3 and 5-on-5, Singapore they won 0 medal. And for a team, we would think that, not among the perennial powerhouses in SEA Games, Vietnam actually won 2 bronze medals. So, it sets up questions in my head.
Yeah. Vietnam is catching up. So, John, what do you think?
It's a good point.
What's new news?
It's a great point that Victor's made it, but I must say that I think obviously the Vietnam team also has improved greatly, probably on the back of playing ABL as well. I mean, many of those players definitely are on the ABL team. I think I might have to disagree a little bit with Victor on this. I think that the loss of the ABL would be a big thing to the Singapore national team, whilst maybe medals obviously show that there's something went wrong. I just think that without the ABL, there's such a limited amount of playing time for the Singapore players to be involved in. They're playing 20 games maybe in the ABL. I'm not 100% sure how many games they play, but that's a significant number of games that they then miss out on, let alone the training that they get that they probably wouldn't be doing if they weren't involved in the ABL team. I mean, we can probably ask Coach Jerel here, because I know Coach Jerel quite a few times has actually trained with the Singapore Slingers. So he would have a little bit of an insight into what he believes is the difference that's made to the local players. Personally, watching some of the ABL games, I think the players have improved. I'm a strong believer also that some of those players, unfortunately, have had bad habits prior to joining the Slingers. And I think, if the Slingers can continue and the ABL can continue, giving that platform for younger players for somewhere to go to, I think opens up the door for more younger players to actually, work more on their fundamentals, where, no disrespect to any of the current Slingers players at all, but many of them lack basic fundamentals in my opinion. Rel, you've trained with most of those guys and played alongside them in scrimmages and that. What do you think about it?
I think nothing against Singapore. I love Singapore, but I think it has something to do with, if you look at other countries like Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand, they have leagues outside of the ABL for their players to build their way up. Like Vietnam has the VBA. So as soon as the ABL is over, VBA starts. So you think about the players that don't get a chance to play in the ABL, they play in the VBA, it gains their confidence, and then it leads over to the next year. Indonesia has the same thing called ABL. Thailand has TBL. So all these players, as soon as ABL finishes, let's say they don't have a good season, they can look forward to the next season, and that means their confidence is not dropping. So they can go to the other league and build their confidence up, and then next year when ABL starts, they're going into with high, they might play good in that league. And I think that's why I think that, even though I only played in the Pro-Am SBL, even that I played 1 year. I think that helped local guys, because you were able to see the local people that don't play on the Singapore Slingers. Singapore Slingers could have used that to see how the local guys are, because honestly, I look at net kids. He has a couple 18-year-old, 17, 16-year-old kids. Those kids are pretty good, but how do they get a chance to go show what they have and play against other international kids at a different level, like the Pro SBL? You can go watch and be like, whoa, like for instance, man, I didn't even know this guy was in Singapore, and he's local. But you don't have a league. I mean, you have what's that BAS league? What's the league that you played?
And
NBL.
You had the NBL, but how many times have you seen the slinger coaches there to watch?
Yeah,
You don't see them
true.
there watching.
It's a short
And they
league
all-
too. It's quite a short season that they play.
Yeah,
It was just,
they play back to back, like 3 or 4 games a week. But that league, you should use that league. Not just saying bringing international people, but how many times have you seen? Nothing against Neo, I love Neo to death, and nothing against Michael Johnson. But how many times have you seen those two guys in that gym watching that?
good point, Ralph.
Don't see it.
Maybe
So how do you
maybe
expect
it's
to make
time
growth?
for us to make a SBL ourselves.
Honestly, man, a lot of people, a lot of local guys played in that SBL, and like Jonathan played for Malaysia Dragons like last year or the year before, and he did very well. And he played for and he's Singaporean, I heard.
Yes.
So I don't know how he played for Malaysia Dragons, but he should have been on the Slingers.
Yes. But
Yeah.
of course, for me, myself, I really want the ABL to continue. Okay, hopefully, hopefully the rumors is not true. Okay, and I believe it's not true. Okay, it will continue. All right, after the COVID.
right. So personally, I will hope that ABL stays because, in all essence of it, it provides the platform for the local players to look forward to training, professionally, and hopefully it's just a blip, for the national team, and then we can build on the success of the Singapore Slingers, and then we do just as well for the national team at SEA Games competitions and all other international events.
All right. Thank you so much, coaches, for this insight in ABL news. Okay, next up. Okay, we go to Coach Jerel, all the way from USA. He's here today, okay, to share with us. Okay, for those who don't know Coach Jerel is a mentor, advisor, a coach, and a brother to Ariel Loiter. Okay, Ariel Loiter has just got her Division I full scholarship in Colgate University. And Coach John will have the honor to interrogate how did Coach Rel guided Ariel through that Division I NCAA scholarship. Let's go.
Well, first of all, welcome, Coach Jerel, all the way from Georgia, Atlanta in the USA. Great to have you in the zone this morning.
Thank you.
I was privileged to be approached by Tamir, Ariel's father, when they arrived back in Singapore when she was an 8-year-old. And I remember having first session I had with her. We were just working on some basic shooting structure, techniques, and Ariel had no clue what I was saying. Her English was so limited. She was born here in Singapore, moved to Israel until she was 8 years old, and came back with very, very little English. So it was a real challenge. But, hindsight, looking back, you could see there was something special about Ariel. It was very obvious to me. This was a child that had such a passion and such a drive for the game. She just loved the game. She wanted to learn. She listened incredibly intently to every word. And as I said, at starting point, she didn't know what I was saying, but she was still listening, and very quickly looking to Dad, who helped to translate for me for the first, few sessions, I guess. Came a little bit easier later on, and of course, basketball's basketball. So she did know what I was talking about with some guidance. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome again Jerel to the show. Great to have you here. Love to get your insight into your early days with Ariel, because I know you've been coaching her for probably 8 years at least. Would that be correct?
Yeah, 8 long years.
So how were the early years for you when you first started coaching Ariel? So she would have been a 10-year-old, I guess, when you started coaching her.
Yeah, she might have been 10 years old, and just her love for the game, or her dad's love for the game, just was unbelievable when I first met them. And we just put in work at an early age. I mean, I saw the potential that she had, and I was still playing when I met her, but I knew I wanted to make that transition to coaching. So it kind of helped me work on my coaching and prepare for me to start working on my coaching then. And her work ethic even is probably the same as she was 10 years old right now. So I think that really helped her at that moment.
Well, thanks for that insight, Rel. We're just going to have a look at a couple of clips of you and Ariel working out in Shot Zone in Singapore. So we'll cut to that and maybe have a look at those, and we can have a little discussion on those in a minute. So Coach Rel, obviously seeing that first clip there, you know, is obviously a strong defensive pressure that you and Coach Paul were putting on Ariel there, and she still manages to get through you, as you know, and I think that's probably when she was about 15 years old. You know, give us a little bit of an insight on some of the drills that you work with Ariel on, and again, how hard she worked on those drills.
Well, some of the drills that I was doing with her was some of the drills that, you know, I had my trainer do with me when I was playing. And at her position, I felt like she needed to, in America, they play defense a little bit different than international. And I felt like, you know, if two people guard her and you can get past two males, you can get past any female. You know, guys are much stronger. So I felt like I wanted to see her, what can she do against us two with a lot of pressure? I mean, because in America, you know, at the girls level, you don't see 4 or 5 good players on the court like that for the females. You might have 2, you know, 1 or 2, maybe 3. So I felt like with her, she's always going to attract a double team. So, you know, with a double team, you have to make adjustments. You got to read the defender, see which way they're going. You got to keep your head up the whole time. You got to be able to use a back treat dribble. So, you know, with me and Paul pressure her, making her think, you know, you got to think quick on your feet. In America, you know, that's a fast-paced game in America. So, you know, I felt like that might have helped her later on, you know, when she got to America, like, okay, I've done this before. So I think that kind of helped us with her with the two-on-one drill.
Thanks for that insight, Rel. You actually just reminded me of a bit of a story. I actually coached a game against Ariel. In fact, it was in the International Schools League competition. And when we played her team during the rounds, I had my players double team her, and we kind of did shut them down and win the game. And then we got to the championship, and I actually put 3 players on her, and she killed us. She just dominated the game. She did bring the other players into the game a little bit as well, and obviously they were open because we were playing a 3-2, you know, in the key. And it just reminds me that obviously that doing those drills, it paid off, obviously. So we'll have another little look at another clip with you working out with Ariel, doing a bit of a shooting, and maybe we can have a bit of a chat after that.
Okay.
So obviously Ariel's shooting ability is absolutely phenomenal. As I said, you know, when I first coached her as an 8-year-old, I was amazed that, you know, her technique was almost flawless back then. The clip we just watched, which we've shortened for the show, she nails 5 3-pointers in a row. But what actually happened in that clip is she actually hit 23 3-pointers in a row in that drill you were working out with her on. So just give us a little bit of insight into, you know, what you thought of her shooting and what you did to work on and help her shooting technique.
Well, with Ariel, when I first met her, I mean, she was small. So, you know, the biggest thing in America, man, when you're small, I mean, even me, when I'm 6'1", my dad always made me shoot. He said, the more you shoot, the better your shot gets. So I kind of relate that to her, also her and her dad. I told her, look, you know, unless she hits a growth spurt, she's going to have to be able to shoot that ball. If she can shoot that ball at her level, she's going to make it far. And as you can see, she kind of made it. I mean, so we used to shoot a lot. I used to make her, I remember a couple of times before Shot Zone was even open, we used to shoot 1,000 shots. I would rebound, and that might have been the easiest rebound person I ever met. It was so easy to rebound for her because she's going to make them. And if she don't make them, the ball's coming right back to me. So I didn't have to go out too many places. But, you know, if I told her, hey, look, we're doing 500 shots the first hour, and we're going to do 500 the next hour. We did 1,000. Honestly, we did 1,000 in probably 1 hour. And Turmeric and her dad can vouch for that. So we did a lot of shooting. And then once Shot Zone opened, and then I came back to Singapore because I was coming from Slovakia playing, Shot Zone just made her shot even more better with that machine. I mean, if you come to America, man, you see that machine at every gym, every high school, middle school, because that machine helps you get shots up. A lot of kids that use that. It's at every college university. I know it's probably in the Philippines and definitely in Australia because I played in Australia. That machine does wonders because it helps you with repetition, and that's what she did. When Shot Zone opened, all she did was shoot, and you wonder why she made 20.
Yeah, thanks, Jerel. That obviously for those viewers out there that maybe don't know of Shot Zone, look it up, www.shotzone.com. And as Rel says, it's just a great opportunity for local students, our players, get in here, practice your shooting, and you can get up 1,000 shots in an hour. It's not hard. On that note, we'll just cut to another clip. Rel, we're going to have a little bit of a look at one of Ariel's games, or a couple of Ariel's games in the States. And just before we cut to that clip, though, actually, I'd just like to get your opinion also on the fact that, you know, coming from Singapore, you know, and I think she left Singapore when she was 14 and a half, something like that. Ariel was probably playing, I don't know, maybe 40 to 50 games in a year if she was really lucky. And then she went to the States and she played hundreds. In fact, I know she went to one tournament where there were 76 courts.
I was at that court.
I think it's Run of the Roses, isn't it? I think in the US.
Yeah, I went to that one. Yeah.
Where is that tournament played?
Actually, that tournament's played in Georgia. Actually, I went last year and saw her play. It's like maybe 12 courts in one gym. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like this the whole time trying to figure out which. It's so busy.
Yeah. So we'll cut to this clips first of Ariel's games, and maybe we'll come back and you can just give us a little bit of an insight into the difference, obviously, in the playing standard as well as the sheer number of games that Ariel obviously is playing now in the US, and what she's likely to play moving forward at Colgate. So let's cut to that clip. Okay, well, there was some great footage there of Ariel playing in a couple of situations there. I think the very first small clip was her playing at IMG, where she was studying also in a high school. And then the last clips were from one of the tournaments in the US. So Rel, you know, what would you like to share with the kids in Singapore, the differences between the styles of play, how much you're likely to play, the extra training regimes as well, and, you know, how much extra training Ariel's likely to have now going to college?
I think the biggest adjustment for Ariel, I remember talking to her back then when it first started, was just how much freedom you have outside of school. I honestly, Singapore is very strict with academics, and I love that. America's not like that. It's kind of easier, so you can balance a little bit more basketball sometimes. But I remember her big adjustment was, you know, oh man, I have a lot of time to put in the gym outside of schoolwork. I think when she was at IMG, her biggest adjustment was just adjusting to the style of play. You know, practice in the morning, you can shoot around later, then come back and you have practice later that evening. And then if you want to come back at nighttime, you can still come back and put in work. So the big adjustment was just balancing her schedule, time management, to make sure she put in that work. And then, you know, I remember in high school, you could play a lot of games. I mean, she probably played close to 60 to 80 games in 1 year. I mean, that's a lot. And that's high school basketball. And then as soon as that's over, AAU starts. Literally AAU starts. So that gives her more games. So it's no breaks. So just imagine all those players in Singapore if they had a chance to actually play 20 to 30 games, and then as soon as that season on 1 week off, you play AAU for another 40. I mean, that's a lot of games for a kid to be playing. And think about that. It's a lot of exposure. That's what's in Singapore, and not just Singapore, maybe other countries. Exposure. I mean, Ariel was playing against people in different cities, Oklahoma, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina. So you're playing against different people. That's just like the Asia Pacific Cup. I wish we could do that. That's what you do, John. I wish we could do that every week. I mean, imagine how many people play against that whole weekend. Look how many people play against different countries, and it's great basketball. Now imagine that every week. That's how AAU is, and you're playing against different teams. So I think once she caught on to that after her first year transferring to America, the following year you just saw so much improvement because she went through it her first year and she played against it. Now she's playing against other people that she didn't play against her first year. So I think that plays a big part.
In her time at IMG, Rel, I believe also she was playing on the high school team and on the a next level up. They have a
the national team.
Yeah,
the national basically they just play junior colleges. So basically you have your regular high school games. That's what she was playing, but she was good enough to play on the other team also that plays junior colleges. It's like the prep school team. The junior colleges team is like a 2-year school in America. That's what we call it. And it just basically a lot of players, like for instance, let me give you an example. Jimmy Butler that plays for the Miami Heat now, played for the Bulls. He went the junior college route. So basically you go 2 years to a school and then you go to a 4-year school right after, a big school after that. Basically you're just trying to get your recruitment up. So she played on both because what she was doing on the regular team, the coach thought, hey, you might need to play on this team also. So you can do that.
That's fantastic. That's a great insight. So I think we can wrap it up there. So look, I'd love to thank you once again, Rel, coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. It's obviously very late at night there. So thanks for staying up for us. And
anytime, man.
It's great to have you on the show. It's great to have you on In the Zone.
In the Zone. Yeah, I heard a lot about it and I watch it. So make sure y'all watch it.
Wow, that's a very, very good insight, okay, from Coach Jerel, okay. Hopefully, he will be returning soon in Singapore, okay, after COVID is finished. All right, guys, so don't miss this episode, okay. Next up, okay, I'm going to interview Coach Yojie. Yojie is one of our best coaches in SG basketball. And here's the clip. Okay, first, full name, Coach?
Ow Yu Jie.
Ow Yu Jie.
Yeah.
No English name.
No English name.
No English name.
Yeah.
Ow Yu Jie. I need to get used to pronunciation of these Chinese names. Okay, sorry guys. Okay, so Coach, when did you start coaching?
I started coaching around 5 years ago, back when I was in university. So back then I had taken like 2 schools just as a part-time job. But after I graduated, I decided that I can turn this into a full-time job.
What was the 2 schools that you coached?
Okay, I coached Singnan Primary School and Burnville Primary School, one in the west and one in the east.
Oh, alright. Okay, so what made you to want to be a coach?
I find that unlike many other jobs, this job is actually very satisfying where you get to inspire someone, you get to watch like those kids that you grow them, okay, since you're like P3 all the way to P6. This is a very wonderful journey. So I feel that whatever I do, I can see immediately throughout the years. And a chance to inspire, teach kids value, I think that is more than anything that I can ask for.
Okay, so if in order to be a coach here in Singapore, what accreditation that you must have, to coach those schools? Yeah, because in Philippines, right, it's different. Because in Philippines, guys, if you want to be a coach, you just get an offer, okay? And then you just go to the course if you want. If you don't want, your experience is enough. But in Singapore, there's a lot of certificate. What certificate do you need to have?
Okay, the most basic one is you must have the NCAT, which is provided by Basketball Association of Singapore. Okay, then you need to register with MOE to be an MOE certified coach. Then lastly, you have to get your necessary first aid cert.
Wow, that's a lot of certificate, guys. If you're thinking to be a coach in Singapore, that's what it takes. All right. For the age group, for me, I love to coach every age group as long as basketball. But some coaches prefer age group. Which age group do you like to coach the best?
Usually I coach 12 and under because that is an age group that I coach in my school, which I coach all the way from 9 years old all the way up to 12 years old. So this is an age group that I usually work with.
Oh, under 12.
Under 12.
Even right now, you're coaching all those primary schools.
Yes.
So you enjoy under 12, guys. Honestly, right? Yeah, I have respect for professional coaches, but honestly, I have more respect to those primary coaches and high school coaches. Why? Because they are the one who is grooming the grassroots of basketball. They are the one actually sacrificing, like Coach Ow Yu Jie, he's the one who is sacrificing, to train them from zero to become professional. So my respect to all primary and high school coaches is really higher than the pro. I'm sorry to say that. Yeah, for me. That's for me only, guys. Yeah. And then what do you think, as a coach, you want to instill some values to the kids, right? So what do you think is the values that you want to impart to them while coaching them?
Of course, one of the most important is perseverance, okay? Especially when I get kids that come from when they are primary 3. Those kids normally have not faced any rejection, have not had any trouble, okay? Usually, Singapore parents will start to pamper them, okay? So, once they start coming to training, they start to face rejection, okay? They start to face hard work, okay? They have to do a lot of physical training when they give up, okay? I think it's through all this experience where they train with a bunch of friends, okay? And their coach encourage them, okay? Tell them that it's not okay to give up, okay? You can push on. I think through this, they learn perseverance. And of course, discipline, okay? And many other important values that all can be taught during training.
Wow. Oh, you talk about discipline. How you discipline them? Because a lot of really kids, right? That's why I have a respect for those who are teaching primary school because they need discipline. How do you discipline them?
I think most importantly is that you have to be firm, okay? Because if you coach kids before, one thing that they always do is that they bargain. This one trait of teaching kids, okay? And a lot of coaches actually give you when you bargain. So if you talk about discipline, I feel one of the most important thing is that if you are firm with your kids, okay? If you are firm with your kids, usually you do not need to do a lot of physical punishment or shout loudly at them. Most importantly is that you have to be firm, okay? But of course, when they go out of the line, you have to discipline them and you have to be fair with everyone.
Wow. Yeah. Yes, I agree with that. Coach, how about your achievements? Can you tell us your achievements in coaching? And how many years are you coaching right now? Sorry.
This is my coming 6th year that I'm coaching. Okay, and so far I won 7 zone champion. So
7.
Actually,
oh my God.
My girls team has achieved 7 zone champion. Okay, so 2 teams. Okay, cause they have 1 junior and 1 senior. So they have win 4 years in a row so far. Then I achieved national top 4 3 times.
Wow.
For my girls. So for boys, I just started recently coaching boys for 3-4 years. Okay, so for boys in my first year, I've achieved zonal top 4.
Wow.
And national top 4.
Wow, guys. I think Coach Ow Yu Jie is following Coach Victor's footsteps. Okay, actually I didn't know Coach Ow Yu Jie achievement until now. Coach, how about your playing experience? How many years did you play and achievements maybe? Can you tell us about it?
Currently, I'm playing Division basketball actually with SG basketball. So we are in the most competitive league in Singapore, and with all the fellow coaches. So actually, all the coaches in SG basketball are actually really good basketballers.
Yes.
Okay, and I personally have played for the national team for 2 years previously.
Wow.
Yeah, but now I'm no longer on the national team.
Do you have another coach that you look up to? I don't know. idolize?
For me, my mentor coach is Coach Victor, who is also which is the master coach in SG basketball.
Yes.
So I think he had won several national championships. In fact, 20 throughout his 20
Yes.
years of coaching experience. So,
Legendary.
yeah. So he actually handheld me through my coaching career.
Wow.
Okay, and teach me a lot of things. And I think one thing that is special about him is that the way he sees things is very different from others. Very perceptive. Yeah.
Guys, look out for our interview for Coach Victor next time, okay? As Coach Yu Jie mentioned, right, he's our master coach here at SG Basketball, so look for it. And last thing, okay, what advice you want to give to the people, to the kids, or I don't know, to the person, to the players that want to be a coach someday? Any advice? You know?
I think most importantly is to be patient, because a lot of coaches, when they are coaching, they are already a very good player. So
Yes.
a lot of people lack the empathy to understand that why this kid cannot do a layup, why does one cannot do certain things, and
Yes.
it's very easy to get frustrated, especially when you are coaching such a young group.
Yes.
So remember that when kids are starting out, okay, it's even hard for them to just learn how to run, how to jump, okay. So be patient, okay, and for every complex skill, okay, you can break it down into simpler steps. Okay, how to break down the skill into very, very small drill to teach them one single drill. Like for example, when I coach a layup, I might be able to break the drill into 4 different parts before I teach them the final complete underhand layup. So this is something that I hope all the coaches in Singapore will be able to do.
Alright, so guys, you heard it personally from Coach Yu Jie. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Coach Yu Jie, thank you so much for being here today. Okay, he's our first guest coach. Okay, in this segment. Alright, Coach Yu Jie. How to pronounce again? Yu Jie. Sorry, guys. Okay, thank you so much for being here today. Alright, see you guys. And that's all for today. Thank you so much, Coach Victor, Coach John, and Coach Jerel. All right, for you guys, please comment below, suggest what else you want us to discuss with, and then see you next week. All right, see you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.